One, two, 1, 2, 3, go. Hey there, YouTubers. It's me, Seth, and so the pickles, they turned out pretty good. I mean, they're a little floppy, but that is always to be expected when you ferment pickle anything, and to me, they got that good level of salt. And definitely garlicky, not dill. I'm not a big fan of the dill ones. So these ones taste a lot like the kind you would get in a restaurant, or of course in a deli. So just after 1 week of fermentation with a heat mat. Now, might have taken about 2 weeks with no heat mat. But if the temperature is warm enough, then it'll ferment fine. I just found that the heat mat helps take out any inconsistencies in temperature in the home. So, you're wondering what's with the salt and this stuff and this cabbage. Well, like I said, we were going to be making some kraut. This original recipe came from a book that I read called Fermenting Food, and this is by Adam Elabd, E-L-A-B-D. D is for dyslexia. So I'll put a link for it so you guys can check it out. And he just goes into an exhaustive, basic detail. No, it's a great starter, pun intended, I guess. It's a great starter for anybody who wants to get into fermentation. It covers all your basic things, fermented vegetables, beer, kefir, kombucha. This was the book cheese. Anything that is made by fermenting has a basic recipe in here, even a simple starter for bread. So check out this book. I really liked it. It's got great pictures, and it was my foundation for when I got into fermenting, and then I kind of experimented and went a little different way. And it was actually the sauerkraut salt content is where I got the 1 tablespoon per 1 gallon. In this one, he puts it where he uses 1 head of cabbage to a quart jar. I found that was just a little too small. It'd be a lot better just to have a bigger jar than a smaller jar. But we're going to be making a gallon's worth of kraut. And this gallon of kraut will last you a long time. And the thing is that if you leave it sitting out in the heat, it'll just get more, squishy, fermenty, and sour. And it's delicious. When it's cold, it takes away from the sourness and the flavor. But, I don't want it to keep fermenting because I don't eat sauerkraut every day. But I definitely like having it when I need it. And because this is a live culture food, it is great for your gut health. So for those out there who are looking for more probiotic foods, sauerkraut is one of the easiest ways that you can inoculate yourself. I mean, okay, you take 1 head of cabbage, take 1 tablespoon of pickling salt, and then you take yourself a jar big enough to hold it. Now, I like to use old pickle jars because, basically they're free after you buy the pickles. But you could go out and buy one or get a special little crock. It's not necessary. You could do this in a plastic bucket if you really wanted to. I would not suggest it just because plastic buckets retain flavors. And, you don't know what you're going to use that bucket later for. Definitely don't use a bucket that had cleaning supplies in it. But we're just going to go with a very simple kraut recipe, and then you could vary it any different way you want. Now, today I always make my kraut enough that I can fit this 1 gallon jar. That way I just have enough, kraut for whenever I need it, and it's great. I found that if I had just 1 quart, I usually run out a lot faster than say I would do with 1 gallon. So we're gonna use 2 cabbages here, and the book says medium head cabbage. I don't know what the hell that means. So it's kind of, it varies, because really a cabbage can be a little bigger, it could be a little smaller. It also depends on how tight the cabbage is, and that depends on how much cabbage you're gonna get. But if you're starting out making kraut for the very first time, I really strongly suggest buying an organic cabbage. Okay, the reason you want to buy an organic cabbage is because, well, cabbage is one of the top sprayed vegetables out there, and if you look up a list on top sprayed vegetables, cabbage is one of them. Onions are another one, and you don't want those pesticides, even though they are supposed to be safe for humans to eat. That does not necessarily mean that they're safe enough for bacteria to eat. So, what you want to do is you want to get yourself an organic cabbage. Okay, you want to have organic cabbage, and try to have, clean your jar. That way any bad bacteria that you don't want in there is gone. I used a little bit of bleach. Rinse it out real good to make sure that you have no bleach residue in it. Smell it, you'll smell it. Okay, it's in there. But if you were just using a pickle jar and you don't want that smell in there, then I would suggest just using vinegar and baking soda. Baking soda vinegar combo is really good, I found, for removing odors that are unpleasant. And if it airs out for a little while, it will go away. So, because I've already had my starter here, now this was originally from a organic cabbage, and the funny thing about the bacteria that is responsible for sauerkraut is the lactobacillus, and that's the healthy gut bacteria that they've been saying, oh, you got to get more of this. There's a lot of other cultures that you do need. You do need a little bit of yeast. You do need a little bit of the bacteria. You need a combo of things. And really the only way to get that is by eating raw, natural foods. Cooking it actually will kill the necessary bacteria that's in there. Unfortunately, as humans, there's not a lot of produce that we can eat raw. So that's why you want to eat locally and organically. Unfortunately, the organic business is a bit of a racket. If you can grow your own food, definitely go for that. So the funny thing about lactobacillus, it is one of the first bacteria that we're exposed to as children. So lactobacillus will be on your mother when you first feed. It's just everywhere. Lactobacillus is just everywhere, and it's even on these leaves right here. Now I'm taking off these top leaves just because one, they're not going to be very tasty as kraut, and two, I'm going to wash them off just to get any residue off of them, because that could possibly do an off flavor. For some reason, my last batch of kraut kind of tasted like pineapple, and I don't know why. But don't throw these away. You are going to save them because they are useful. And if you want to rinse them off, now this is what you're wanting to look for when you're going to cut your cabbage. You want the leaves that are sticking right to the tightness right here. So let's just give this a little rinse, just so we can get anything that is off of it. We're gonna remove the pesticides, any pesticides and fungicides that are on these cabbages with water that has chemicals in it. Isn't that funny, people? It almost seems like self-defeating, isn't it? Now, this is not 100%, dogma that you have to follow very specific rules when making kraut. No, kraut was made by our ancestors as a means of preservation so that they could have something that'll last them a long time. And the funny thing is that kraut will last a very long time. It can last 6 months, from my understanding, in a cool temperature like a root cellar. So you can see how, like, you know, it looks like it's taking up a lot of space and that other cabbage is definitely not going to fit. No, that's definitely not true. So what we do, we get what we call Kramenstick.
I gotta bring that in just a little closer.
You could have told me to...
No, I just want to highlight its glory, that's all.
Kramenstick. And I whittled the little end to help muddle it up. And yeah, so you're going to want this Kramenstick here. And you just, it's like, you just crom it. That's what you do. Now, because you don't have to too hard, you break the glass. And here you go. You just take, and you can use any kind of hardwood stick. I don't even think this is hardwood. I think this is just like a pine stick, but it don't work. Yeah, don't worry. It's all good. And look, so you just smash it down and just cram it right in there. Just cram it. Cram it. And, you know, if you don't decide to make kraut much anymore, you could always use your Kramenstick to fight off any people who want to take your stuff, like your cabbage. And you could use like a regular rolling pin maybe, but you want a nice wide base. If you have a muddler, that's cool too. But the main goal is to have like a stick that you can just use and you get that muscle in there. Look at that. See, like, this is how I bet you those old German women were built. Like, no wonder Arnold Schwarzenegger was so big. He's Austrian. It's the same country. It's all good. But see, get that forearm in there. Yeah. You hear that? That's the work. That's how you get all that extra liquid out. And you're going to get a lot of liquid. Just enough to help cover it up. And this will help tenderize it. Break it down even more.
Now, would you say that if someone were to have like a wider container, they could possibly get away with something like, you know, a mashed potato masher kind of thing, or
Yeah, that
just
could work.
something to compact it?
That's a good idea. I don't think we have a mashed potato masher, but I don't know. I wonder if the mashed potato masher would bend. I don't know.
Maybe.
You definitely want to try it out. Look, see if you can see how much water is coming out of that. And that's what you want, because that water is going to act as your seal later. So you don't need any water. Kraut is so easy to make. It just takes a little work. But you know what? For you people out there that want to get like maybe a little workout in with your food, and you're not really burning that much, I'm pretty sure you're going to, well, to those people who want to lose weight, you know, and you want to burn more calories than you consume, I'm pretty sure you'll burn more calories making kraut than you will consuming it. We got our water here, which is what we want. Then, next thing we do is you take those cabbage leaves that we saved, and this will act as a seal. So you take them. I usually break this vein out because it keeps the, see, now it lays more flat. Put that in there. Line it. Take another one. And see, this is what you want. Just push it down, because this will create that water barrier that keeps the air from molding your kraut, which is what you want. And that's all that liquid there. Yeah, you want that on top. Okay. And for just double precaution, I'll take a Ziploc, and we put water in it. And this just ensures that no more air can get in. Like that. Lid, but not too tight, just tight enough. Let's rinse this off. Now, when you're making anything acidic, any kind of fermented acidic food, I suggest getting a lid that will not react. Now, you can go plastic, but because this is a pickle jar lid, I figured that it's okay. But if it does get rusty, well, you know, we'll figure out from there. Maybe you just get a different jar with a better lid. All right, so that's simple, making your own homemade kraut. And then what I do is I sit it on my heating mat that you can get off of Amazon or any garden store, really. You want a germination mat. That's pretty much what you want. So put this on a germination mat or just in a warm, dark place. You do want it to be warm though, because the warm will create this environment for all those beautiful bacteria to grow and give you your nice, tasty sauerkraut. And this kraut will take a lot longer than those pickles. I've found that on the heating mat, it takes about maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Without the heating mat, it'll be 1 week longer. And this is now up to you. What your taste is. Your taste could be, you know, if you want it nice and mushy, then you definitely want to go like over a month. But if you don't want it too mushy, then, you know, go about a month, maybe less. It all depends on also how sour you want it. This is really where it's up to you. So right now, technically it's edible. You could eat this as is, but it tastes a lot better if you let it sit for at least 2 weeks. So let this sit in a warm, dark place for at least 2 weeks, and then you definitely will be good. But me, this is going in for about a month. It's a lot of work, a lot of time, but, you know, it's definitely worth it if you want some nice sauerkraut. And if you're a person who wants to have, you know, kraut now, well, then what you do is you want to make it in a cycle. Make the batch in cycles, so that way you have kraut on hand immediately as soon as it's done. So like have yourself a batch that's already getting done 1 month ago. Pull it out, put this in, take this another month, boom, there you go. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you like it and hope you try it. So, you guys take it easy, alright?